Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back to Paladins. Now today I wanted to touch on a character that I've not actually really talked about all that much, even though she's one of the poster children for the entire game, and that is Cassie over here, who I've got the Nightbane, or parts of the Nightbane pack on, if she'd load in. Thank you very much, Cassie. Because her normal voice kind of annoys me. So there's that. But yeah, a lot of people play her like a sniper, and I've got a little bit of an issue with this because it means that they usually sit way off the point. Very often people try to play her similarly to Kinessa or Strix or Charlene, the people that are actually better designed to be snipers, when she's actually much more like a kind of like skirmisher, kind of McCree type character, if we're using Overwatch analogs here, because she's got pretty high damage but like a fairly slow pace of fire, just under a second for kind of every next shot. She's got a disengage to knock a target away, so where McCree or characters like McCree tend to have something like a flashbang or some kind of disengage so that they can move. She's got that. She has her roll, which again gets her out of AoEs or out of the way of people pretty quick. She's got her blast shot, which reduces healing, but also explodes and kind of has a little bit of an AoE to it. And then also she increases her movement speed, has immunity to CC, but also reveals enemies. So she's very much there to pick out those characters like Skye or Charlene or Strix, who are you know, she's there to get in, chase them down, take them out. Now, what I have here as the build that I tend to use is I've got a couple of extra ammo, you know, just because it's a little bit more helpful, because, you know, having her reload isn't necessarily the best. I was actually thinking about reworking Cassie, but I'll go with this one for the moment and then maybe talk about the reworked one when I eventually do my video in regards to the characters and things that have changed and stuff like that, because I was tempted to make her more dodge roll focused than I have her at the moment, but we'll go with this because this is what I know for the time being. And so as a result, her blast shot healing people for 2 seconds for each enemy hit. Potentially that's a fair amount of healing if you like fire straight into a crowd, as we might see later when we're going into a bot match. Increased her reload speed after a kill means that she can get in, skirmish, take on that person, take that person down, and then have a full clip ready again to take on the next person. You know, just that little bit quicker. As said, a little bit more ammo just because it's more useful as well for chasing people down. Extra lifesteal, or gaining lifesteal, from her first shot after rolling. You know, just if she's rolling, she's trying to get out of the way, she's trying to get out of trouble, having a little bit of a pick-up on her next shot. It might not be much, but it might be the difference between one shot killing you and taking a couple more shots. And then increase knockback on disengage, just to give her that little bit of extra leeway. So for me with this, I tended to go in, tangle with people, and then look for my way out. What I was considering making another build around was focusing purely on the dodging, purely on the rolling, just to keep that mobility up, to move in and out using the dodges, using it just in as aggressive a way as possible. But we'll go with this for the moment. Now, with this, I've only unlocked one of the other cards, just because this last one didn't really appeal to me all that much. But we've got increased damage of blast shot and reduce its cooldown, so you can spam out that blast more regularly. This again is kind of helpful with that card that granted us so many seconds of healing per hit. You know, if we're able to do it more often, spam it into crowds more often, then, you know, that's going to help us out more. It's going to keep that healing coming. Then the next one, which is deal extra damage on your next shot after a dodge roll. Again, this is kind of where I was thinking with a continually rolling, like tumbleweed-esque Cassie, then maybe this would really increase damage output over time. but that's something I'm still to experiment with, even though I've got the idea for it. And then this one, which is after hitting an enemy with disengage, subsequent shots will deal an additional 5% of their max health in damage for 6 seconds. Like, that's alright, but again, it's very much a kind of set up and knock down. And I don't... Well, in me playing Cassie, she has the potential to do that, but again, like, if you're going off and harrying, and if you're trying to skirmish on the point, if you're trying to support your team, then I don't know how well that would work, just because you're trying to push, you're potentially pushing that person away from the team fight just so you can pin them down, which might work in your favor, but also might leave you exposed, might leave them more able to get back up. So that's why I've not really done much with this card, and why I've not really looked at it. But now that we've gone through that, let's just jump into the shooting range, and we'll take a look at her particulars, because again, her particulars are kind of on the easy side, because she's a very straightforward character. Like, as we'll see in a minute, she doesn't... I don't believe she has headshot damage, and hasn't done for a while, but her damage is flat, and it's like, she hits and she hits for a set amount, and it's just there. And I feel like this is where kind of the confusion between her being a sniper and her not being a sniper kind of comes in, because she can hit from pretty much anywhere with those shots, and they'll do the flat damage. Whilst obviously analogs like McCree from other games tend to have much more. Let's take the blast shot. Let's take this. Like, if I'm like, they're all red even where they are, and it's a 650 straight. I don't know if... Okay, so there is a hard limit apparently, because I can't hit. Okay, so well, that looks to be like 300 units, but you've got a hard limit on her shots, but each one, regardless of range, well, yeah, regardless of range, does 650, and then like, I can shoot this one in the head constantly, and yeah, just it's not really a thing that causes a problem, which is again why people don't, people are cowards in games, whether they mean to be, or whether it's just that they don't want to die and they want to do well and whatever else. They tend to step clear of things instead of throwing themselves into it. And this is a problem that I have with a lot more people that play tanks rather than people that play kind of Cassies here. But again, like, she's more built to skirmish, so being able to knock people back, like, that's with the plus 12%, granted, but so she's gone from 100 to, well, that's 50, so this is somewhere around 25-ish, so that's 70, 70% of the distance of 100. Well, it's about 3/4 of like this last area is covered by that shot, and even if you take off the 12%, that's still quite significant in regards to how much you're able to push people back. Now I'm just going to corral this lot all together a little bit. Come on, please. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just fire blast shot in there. So it's got quite a large radius, but as a result, you saw that it's done a reasonable amount of damage. But also, for a moment there, they were all kind of they all had their healing. They all have the little kind of poison-ish effect on them, which is the suppression of healing. And then on top of that, that's what, 5 targets. So if I had taken damage, then that would be 2 seconds for each, so 10 seconds of 400, or 10 seconds and 10 seconds of what, 4,000 potentially, I think. Yeah, 400 times 10. So no, it's 400 times 5. I'm really just not with it today, but that's still a significant amount. But then, you know, otherwise her dodge roll, like if we go from here, she can reach the back. You know, it's not an insubstantial roll, and it's on a pretty fast cooldown as well, even by kind of default. So, you know, she's able to jump around a lot. And then we don't really have a stealth finder thing here, but, you know, it just highlights everybody for us. They're all revealed, all visible through walls. You know, whether they're running back and forth, whether they're standing still, or whether they're stealthed. So, yeah, as said, it's kind of a straightforward character, regardless of the fact of me kind of screwing up the maths there for a moment.
That's 5 in a row.
But, you know, either way, as said, it's not a slow rate of fire either.
Unstoppable. 2 kills at the same time.
But it's also not too fast, so it being single shot is
For some reason we're counting by odds only.
you know, it's you're not running in and just spraying into enemies. You don't have like fanning the hammer, more similar to Androxus's ability, and that's because she's straight up damage. She's not worried about flanking or anything like that. She's there to come in and skirmish. She's there to be behind Fernando, picking people off, or behind a shield, up round a shield. You know, she's supposed to be on the point or moving in on the point. And that's something that often gets neglected. But what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into a bot match, and I'm going to try and demonstrate siege training. So it's just like it's one of these things where I'm like, the Cassie could have saved. Cassie could have saved the point. She could have been there. She could have been in skirmishing with support or tank like myself. Or that's what I usually end up playing anyway. You know, could have quite happily been down there helping us out, tackling stuff with us, and the Cassie has just decided to try and play Canessa, and is sat so far back that she's just taking pot shots down onto the point, hoping to hit something, sometimes doing very well in hitting something, but still not really kind of helping out, not blocking that point, not skirmishing, not being kind of focused on the objective. And it's a problem with these games. People don't want to play the objective. The objective is boring. If as soon as someone starts winning the point, it means that the match is progressing towards its conclusion. You know, for those people that want a longer match, and you know, yeah, it's true, but at the same time, kind of that's the whole point. You're looking for wins or losses here. You're not really looking for much else. So, you know, having characters that have versatility like Cassie is a good thing, but having stuff that kind of allows people to also shirk their role that they've decided to be part of is a problem. Because even Canessa and Strix have capacity to get onto the point and skirmish. You know, they are able to. It's just that a lot of people don't. You know, they much prefer to sit as far away from the objective as possible to get their picks off. But, you know, it doesn't help people. It doesn't block the other team from capturing the objective. It doesn't help remedy the situation if they have already captured the objective. You know, it leaves people floating around. And apparently someone has quite slow internet. Come on, Pip. We believe in you. You can load in. You can do it. But yeah, as you can see, I've not really played a huge... There we go.
By force, if necessary.
I haven't really played a vast... We're going to take that for the constant blast arrow and stuff like that. But and rolling. But like the capacity for Cassie to get in and skirmish and get in and tackle things is there. But again, people want to play her further away than even Strix and Canessa really need to be, considering that they can get in on the point and tackle stuff.
Have fun.
So, you know, we'll get in. We'll skirmish around the point. We've got
5, 4, 3,
a Fernando
1.
and an Inara, so as well as a Maldamba. I'm not sure if we should take I'm not sure if we should take there you go. Where'd he go? Like here we're on the point, we're taking the point, and thanks to our versatility in regards to our range, we were able to still stand off and kind of pick people off. So, you know, it was functional and helpful, but not. He's gone. That's. There we go.
Get over there and escort the dang payload.
There you go. But yeah, it's like we don't need to be kind of stuck with being at range. We don't need to worry too much. You know, we have capacity to do otherwise. But you know, there you go. It's trying to pay attention to stuff. I think we're going to take this so that we can slow that Inara down. The one issue that I have with Cassie is her ult, because even with the CC immunity and even with the other bits and pieces that are going on with it now, it's still not the most useful. Like it's a buff for if you're going to get pinned down, kind of in tough situations. Like if Maldamba there had stunned me and someone else was going to use a CC of some description, then you know that would be where we might pop it, but otherwise there's no real. It's kind of an emergency skill, or one that's there for specific characters, and as there aren't any of those characters really on the other team, because I mean we've got Charlene, but he's there and then gone like that, you know. Go away.
That's 5 in a row. 30 seconds remaining.
Shot her in the back of the head. Oh, see now I could have popped it as soon as I heard that, but I didn't see it being worthwhile considering all we did was run straight into a wall. There we go. Get him. And there we go. In which case then we'll... I think we'll take that for the moment. But like, 1 death, 26 kills. That's obviously because they're bots, but at the same time, you know, Cassie is capable of being in that kind of moving from long range to mid range, holding that mid range, keeping other people at bay, and then moving forward. She doesn't need to be off sniping, which is how a lot of people play her for not a lot of reasons in my thinking. So, you know, we'll I don't know why Victor's riding backwards, but see, there we go. That was more worthwhile because it gave us a heads up on where they were actually trying to come from. There you go. Oh.
That's 9 in a row. For some reason, we're counting by odds only.
Quickly. Thanks for the heal.
Just got able to pop him off the point just so that he didn't contest it for us. And then now we're on a roll again. You know, again, we're that moment of just popping him clear of the point. Just
You are not welcome here.
you know, it gives Cassie a lot more kind of utility in some of the stuff that she does.
Enemy
But
triple kill.
we'll take that because we want to slow down that Moldamba because he's helping people too much. But yeah, it's
You are not welcome here.
when a Cassie, especially on maps with a decent high ground.
I don't need any help. Demon, enemies behind us.
You know, that's where the problems really seem to start, because that's where there you go. But like
At the same time.
you'll see an awful lot of Cassies that on, I don't know, some of the timber mill map, or some of the others that have decent high ground, like some of the kind of frozen maps, the names of which escape me right at this moment.
Thanks for the heal.
You know, they'll end up sitting. I want to take him. Okay. But you'll see them sat up high, out the way, avoiding like everything, rather than actually tackling
30 seconds.
the objective and what's actually going on. So it's more of a pet peeve than some of the things, like when I've had
I don't need any help.
15
kind of
seconds.
Makoas trying to flank, or people not understanding Grover's heal is kind of a point blank AoE around him. You know, it's not as agitating. Really? Okay. It's not as agitating as that, but kind of having a Cassie, especially one that will even if you ask them, they won't come and like help you on the point. They won't come and assist you, even though they're completely perfectly capable of doing so. You know, that's a kind of taxing thing. And you know, I'm only ever making these videos to try and help improve people's experience of this game that I quite enjoy. You know, if you don't have an understanding of the way that characters can work or do work, and you are running off just first impressions or what they look like or whatever else, then there's a good chance that you're going to get kind of stuck, and you're going to be surprised when people don't like playing with you, or you have problems during a match. But yeah, we didn't do badly there at all, considering we got most damage, most eliminations. We apparently also got most objective time, and we got most killing blows, unfortunately taking away completely from both our tank that succeeded so well and our flanker over here. So yeah, we didn't do badly there at all for ourselves. But either way, guys, as said, I've been making these videos to try and help improve experience, not just through kind of throwing out oh look, this is the way you play the game. I'm not trying to enforce a meta. What I am trying to say is, look, these characters work in a very specific way. Yeah, Cassie doesn't have headshot damage, but does have a flat amount of damage that she can do from anywhere, but paired with her other abilities, that leaves her in a really good place to be down on the ground with the tanks, driving people off the point or holding it. Instead of people trying to play sniper with her when she's maybe not that well suited to that, considering the various other aspects of her character being, for the most part, much closer range. But anyway, guys, you know, let me know who you'd like to see me do next, because as said, I need to there are still a load of characters for me to get to. Some of which I've played a lot more, some of which I haven't played as much, because they either the first ones picked, or because no one wants to, everyone wants to play them, or because they're the ones that my friends play. So there are some that I've touched on more than others, but I in games like this, I try to make sure that I understand everything, which is why whenever a new character is released, I take them into the shooting range and I actually work out their ins and outs, which again is one of the reasons why I started doing this video, you know, this whole video series. I'm doing it so you guys don't necessarily have to. But as a result, guys, either tell me what you'd like to see, or, you know, whether or not you'd like to just see me do the roundup of characters that have had big changes to them, you know, like the limited like additions and subtractions that they've made to tanks that that still aren't performing the way, like frontliners that aren't performing the way that they used to, and as a result have been effectively quite substantially nerfed, or other characters that have been improved in various ways, you know, or others that have had like a weird shift, and kind of almost out of the role that they were initially put into. So, you know, let me know which you'd like to see, whether it be another champion, in which case which champion is it. Otherwise, you know, should I just go straight ahead and in the middle of what we're doing so far just do the characters that have already had changes made? You know, let me know what you guys would like to see. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.